Bethel High School's gymnasium. Channel 29 presents Peninsula District Boys Basketball. The Bethel Bruins and the Denbigh Patriots. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble. Welcome to the Den. As you see the meeting at the center of the court of the officials, Steve Whitley and Pat Patrick, and the co-captains for each of the two teams, Denbigh and Bethel. And we are just moments away from the starting lineups for tonight's game. Bob, the Denbigh Patriots have gotten off to a fast start this season. They're 7-1 in the district, 10-2 overall. I believe you said you had a chance to see them play.
Yes, I have. Got to see both teams play. Denbigh is a very quick team, Tim. They're basically a perimeter team, although they got a young man by the name of Weaver that has really stuck their head up. I talked to Dennis Katufas earlier this week, and during the preseason, they had a preseason practice game, and they were scrimmaging Granby, and their #1 rebounder, was going up to stuff the ball and got his feet knocked out from under him or something. I don't know. He came down. Tim broke his arm, his forearm. Both bones come out of the skin, and he is still in a cast. He's out for the year, and he's a senior. 6'6" was their main rebounder, so he's had to go and change a little bit from what they had worked on during the preseason. Bethel on the other side has got some excellent personnel. You just don't know which Bethel team's going to show up. They have shown up and played excellent ball. They've shown up and not played very good ball. I don't know. They're just a hot and cold team. If they come out ready to play, they could give this Denbigh team all they can handle. I wouldn't want to predict one way or the other, but anytime you play a team at their home court, you feel like you're at a little bit of disadvantage, although Denbigh's got a pretty good rooting section and pretty good following. Katufas has done a good job of building this Denbigh team up.
Bethel 2-5 in the district, 3-7 overall. Last time out, which was last Tuesday, Bethel dropped the game at Warwick 64-55, while Denbigh was shocked by Phoebus, a team that has really come on the last 5 games. They're undefeated in their last 5 after losing their first 7. Denbigh came away on the 15-point short end of that game, so it wasn't even close. Of course, Phoebus shot 62% for the game, and it's hard to beat anybody when you shoot that kind of percentage.
That's right. Tim, we're going to have the color guard march out here in the middle of the court, and then they're going to have a moment of silence for the passing of Bolin Shoup, who was the first football coach here at Bethel High School, who passed away at the 21st of December. Real super friend of mine, and we really miss him, and I know they miss him here at Bethel High School, so we're going to have a moment of silence before they play the national anthem.
A very sad occasion, the passing of Bolin Shoup. I know he was a good friend of yours, and our condolences to the family, and I think Bethel will always be better off for having had him as a coach here.
School Bruins. At this time, we'd like to observe a moment of silence on behalf of Bolin Shoup, Assistant Principal, Bethel High School.
Well, McElhaney might have brought one, so you better watch him. Yeah, that's an unfair shot. He may come up with a good one.
Thank you. Men's and women's basketball team have dedicated the rest of this season to his memory. And now, if you will please stand for the playing of our national anthem.
has filed in here at the Den. And we are set to have the introductions of the starting lineups and the teams for tonight's game. First player out is Brian Edlow, who has been introduced, and now his counterpart for Bethel, number 22, Brian Gwaltney, who is also a quarterback on the football team. Number 10, Brian Green, excuse me, number 12, Brian Green for Denbigh being introduced. I'm sorry, I cannot understand what the PA announcer said.
Well, this is Michael for the Denbigh Patriots. And if they don't have their jerseys open, I don't know who they are, Tim. So we'll just have, I know who the starters for the Bethel team is.
Well, let's do that. I want to just tell the fans who the starters are.
Right. For Bethel, number 21, Craig Rainey. Number 22, Brian Gwaltney. Number 24, Damon Wallace. Number 33, Chris Jackson. And number 44, Troy Fullwood will be starting. And Coach Mike Bailey is the head coach.
And for the Denbigh Patriots, their starters are Brian Edlow and Brian Green, number 10 and 12. Number 24, Dana Michael. Number 40, Neil Venable.
Tim, that's very unusual to see both teams right in the middle of the floor.
And the last starter for Denbigh will be Alonzo Randall, and they are coached by Dennis Kutafis. Did I pronounce that right?
Kutufis.
Kutufis, excuse me. And Reggie Garrett and Maxie Anderson are the assistant coaches. There you see our buddy Patrick.
And right along with him there is Steve Whitley, who's the other official tonight. And I promised Pat Patrick that I would not make any bad gestures in his behalf tonight. He does an excellent job, and I tell you, he is the premier official on the peninsula. There's no doubt in my mind, Tim. And we're very fortunate to have somebody that's dedicated to the sport of officiating as Pat is.
We are set to go as jumping center will be Chris Jackson, number 33 for Bethel. And he jumped against Alonzo Randall, and it's controlled by the Bruins.
The Bruins have a set offense that when a ball goes into the side, they know exactly where they're going to go with it.
Chris Jackson put the shot up, and he was fouled. This foul will be called against number 24, Dana Michael. That's his first. And it'll be a non-shooting foul as the foul occurred before the shot. Bethel will have possession, and they are going to use almost all of their 5 seconds to get it in. This is Chris Jackson on the baseline. He still can't get the ball to roll in. And the Patriots will bring it down.
And Bethel's going to pick them up man to man, Tim, as they come across half court.
Ball knocked into the back court and last touched by Denbigh before it went into the court. It was a good call. Now the Bruins will get it on the turnover. No score, just underway from Bethel High School.
Tim, I see Denbigh is in the zone, and then they're trapping in the corners.
Hard to say, I'll remind you that the three-point play
by Rainey.
I'll get this out yet. 8-minute quarters, 4 of them in high school basketball. Now I got that out, we can move on to the game. There is a three-point shot, and we just saw it as Rainey hit it from three-point range, and it's 3-0 Bethel.
Now Bethel is in the zone, Tim.
A three-point shot is converted at the other side. Brian Green. So just like that, we're tied at 3. Chris Jackson, yes.
And if you get that ball inside, that's what I think Bethel's going to have to do to win this ball game, is to pump that ball inside, put a lot of pressure on the inside men of Denbigh. I don't see Weaver starting for Denbigh tonight, Tim. He is their leading scorer, very close to being their leading scorer this year. Brian Weaver I've seen him play in 2 games, an excellent ball player.
Turnover gives the ball to Bethel. They lead 5-3. This is Brian Gwaltney, stolen by Denbigh, and then tripped by his own man, and now a trip right here in front of our broadcast position. Brian Green will be charged with a personal foul. So in an unintentional trip, I might add.
Oh yeah, it was definitely unintentional, but this Mr. Rainey kid is one of the fastest men at Bethel on the track team, and he was headed for the basket. So that might not have been a bad foul. It stopped 2 shots, 2 points for sure.
All the way to the far corner from three-point range again. This one's short. And then lost at the baseline as Damon Wallace couldn't hold on to it for Bethel. 5:53 remaining in the first quarter. 5-3 is our score. Bethel by 2. This is Brian Green. Now Alonzo Randall as Denbigh moves the ball around very well. This is Brian Edlow.
See, Bethel is back into their man-to-man. They're switching and trying to keep Denbigh off balance with the change in defense.
And a 5-second violation.
That's a good call, Tim. Closely guarded for 5 seconds is a violation, and the ball goes over to the defense.
Troy Fullwood, number 44, who wears the same number on his football jersey for Bethel.
I wonder if you picked that up.
Yeah, oh yeah. Chris Jackson at the free throw line kicks it out. 3-point attempt is no good. And the rebound comes off for Edlow of Denbigh. Edlow will take the shot, and it's a 3-pointer. So we're seeing a 3-point exhibition now. 4 baskets scored, 3 of them 3-pointers. It's 6-5 Denbigh. This is Fullwood for 3. Yes.
They're popping those trifectas up. This is one right after another, Tim.
I think the 3-point play is exciting. I'm glad they have it in high school ball. Michael's shot is rebounded by Bethel. Now it's Craig Rainey who cleared the board. Fullwood in for Chris Jackson. His shot was no good, but he was fouled.
Tim, this is a different unit than has been starting most of Bethel's ball games this year, and they're really playing heads up. But now we got wholesale substitution. We got Corey Stewart and Barner, and number 4 for Bethel is Raymond Johnson coming in. And now I also see number 54. Now that's Brian Reaver, who I was telling you about for Denbigh, also is checked into the lineup. Did I get everybody?
Just as I started to get used to them. Jackson misses the first of 2. Chris Jackson, a senior, 6'8", Mr. Jackson is. And he converts.
Well, they say he's 200 pounds, Tim. I don't think he's 200 pounds. He's a slightly built young man.
With cement shoes, he might be 200 pounds. We've got a foul. This one's going to be charged to Craig Rainey, number 21. That's his first. 9-6 in favor of Bethel.
And Tim, that could have almost been a 4-point play. Had that ball gone in, he'd have got the 3-pointer and plus the foul shot. Now, this is what Denbigh's going to do. They've got 2 men clear back. They're going to take the other 3 men, and they're just going to press up court, try to get something to happen and put the other 2 men deep.
Brian Green at the free throw line.
We only have 1 clock working here at the gym too, Tim.
One out of 2 for Brian Green. He's got 4 points, and it's 9-7 Bethel. Peter Barner in the ball game, as you mentioned, number 12. That was Raymond Johnson handling the ball a moment ago, and then we've got a foul inside.
And that's on Corey Stewart, number 42, Tim. He was trying to establish a little bit of territory there, and he was doing some pushing.
Corey Stewart at 6'7", one of the bigger men on the court tonight. And they've got Jackson and Stewart at 6'8" and 6'7", respectfully. 9-7, Bethel by 2. 3:48 remaining in the first quarter. Michael kicks it out, and it's up and good by Neil Venable. That's his first bucket of the game, and we're tied at 9. And now a traveling call against the Bethel Bruins. An official.
I think they're just trying to explain to him that the clock down here to our right, Tim, is not working at all. Of course, they got the 1 clock at this end, and the only disadvantage of that is a team that is playing at this basket. If you're trying to watch the clock and get a last shot off, you won't be able to see it if you're going towards our right.
We're tied at 9, just a little less than 3.5 minutes to go. And the foul is called against Chris Jackson. That was a invisible foul almost. I'd like to, well, we don't have a replay working tonight, but that would be a good point to
well, it really would, Tim, but what happened is Weaver got the ball, Chris kind of pushed him underneath, and it was a good call.
A subtle foul, but a foul nonetheless. Player control foul. Denbigh.
Now this young man can shoot the ball, Brian Weaver. He's scored a lot of points this year for the Denbigh Patriots already.
Peter Barner gets the board for Bethel. And then moving to the basket, we've got a foul. This foul is charged to number 50. Reuben Wilson, that's his first, the 4th team foul. Bob, I thought the coaches weren't allowed to stand up on the side.
Oh, no, they can stand up, Tim, but there's a little area like 3 feet they cannot leave. They cannot even go down the bench and talk to anybody.
Chris Jackson's shot goes awry, and then it's stolen at center court, but we've got another whistle.
I think he was standing on the sideline, Tim. We have a little faster pace in this game than we did that first game.
Yeah, just a little. 2:48 left. We're still tied at 9. Bethel will be shooting the bonus from this point through the rest of the first half. Put it up from 13. It doesn't go. Rebound shot, no good. Chris Jackson with the board for Bethel. Bethel with a chance to take the lead. This is Johnson. Corey Stewart looks inside. Jackson guarded by Weaver. Nice dish off.
And that was a nice cut by Peter Barner and a nice pass by Jackson.
From deep in the corner, the shot no good. Again, Barner with the rebound. And Barner having a word or two with Dana Michael. And I think he had more than a word, actually.
Well, he gave him a shove, but that was the second thing, and he retaliated. He got pushed, turned around a push, and got caught for the foul. And that was a good call. But it was the second foul that was called. I mean, there was no doubt there was a foul, but he missed the first one.
Well, player control foul, as Denbigh is not in the bonus at that point, but they will be from this point on. Minute 55 to go, 11-9, Bethel by 2. Weaver on Jackson, he doesn't get it to go, and the ball comes out for the Bruins. This is Raymond Johnson. We've got a whistle away from the ball. Brian Weaver called for the personal foul.
Let's say shooting situation. Yeah, it is a 1-on-1, Tim. That's
Both
what
teams are over the limit. Now Steve Whitley and Pat Patrick discussing something there at the free throw line. Going to the free throw line will be Corey Stewart.
I don't think he was the one that was fouled. I think Chris Jackson was fouled, Tim.
1-and-1 for Corey. A 4-point lead for the Bruins. Buff Hockman, number 44, in the lineup now for Denbigh. Denbigh moves the ball around extremely well.
They do. They're a well-coached team, and they pass the ball well.
Reuben Wilson converts for Denbigh. Back to a 2-point Bethel lead. Inside for Barner. He's bumped. Good block by Michael. And a second block. And we've got a foul on Raymond Johnson. So the intensity level picking up just a bit.
Just a bit, Tim. And number 10 for the Patriots was that Brian Edlow has a chance to tie the score with this 1-1.
And we're happy to say that both scoreboards are now functioning. Front end of the 1-1 by Edlow is missed, but Denbigh gets the rebound. Trailing by 2. Of course, when you're the #1 team in the district, everybody's shooting for you. From deep in the corner, the shot is no good, and Bethel has the rebound. This is Raymond Johnson. He's guarded by Edlow. Finds Chris Jackson at the baseline. Corey Stewart kicks it out. Johnson, nice feed underneath, and a foul.
But Tim, I see what Bethel is doing is they are forcing and getting that ball inside and doing some real good passes and are putting pressure on the Patriots and could give them some problems in the third and fourth quarter because they may have some foul situations that they hopefully wouldn't get into.
That was Reuben Wilson's second personal foul. Going to the free throw line is Orlando Crawford, a name football fans of Bethel would be familiar with as well.
Yeah, he caught a few passes for the Bruins this year from, and basically he got him from Gwatney and Fullwood. They both played quarterback.
Crawford looking for the second free throw. And he's good on both. 4-point lead for Bethel, 33 seconds remaining. Here in the first quarter from the Den at Bethel High School. Edlow playing catch with Thayer Murphy, who's in the game now. This is Hockman, back to Murphy.
And you can see that the Patriots are basically a perimeter team, Tim.
Brian Weaver from 10. Corey Stewart from 3 with just 1 second to go, and that is going to be the quarter. So Stewart, very aware of the time remaining, took that shot and it almost went.
It rattled out. We have right now, we got AG down here to the right. He's got Tim Whitlock and Jim Brennan, who finished the first game. Go ahead, AG.
All right, Tim, Bob, we do have Tim Whitlock and Jim Brennan. Tim, you guys officiated the first game tonight. Y'all were evaluated by Don Stepp. Tell us a little bit about the officiating evaluation program.
Well, we do have an evaluation program whereby we have an observer we have 3 or 4 on the board that go around different schools and observe different officials. And we never know whether we're going to be observed that particular night or not. But we're graded, and we have to talk to the evaluator at some point and hear what we did right and wrong.
Jim, your observations of the first quarter from an officiating standpoint.
This game, it's quite physical, and that's what it looks like. They're trying to control the game, control the physical underneath. There's a lot of body work, and they're trying to control that, keep it under control.
All right, Tim, you guys get criticized occasionally by fans and players and coaches, but what are some of the rewarding things about it being an official in this league?
Well, the rewarding things are just that we try to do a good game, and we work as a team. And, we don't get a lot of accolades from the fans, so it has to come internally. It's something that you like, you enjoy basketball, and this is how we get something out of it.
All right. Well, Tim and Jim, you did a great job tonight. Good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Tim Whitlock, Jim Brennan.
Thank you, AG, and I will echo those sentiments. I think they did an excellent job calling the girls' game. Ball knocked away momentarily. Dana Michael gets it back for Denbigh from deep in the corner. The shot is good by Neil Venable. That's his second basket.
And we have a tie game.
15 all, 7:18 left in the first half. Corey Stewart, baseline jumper, no good, batted around, and finally controlled by Denbigh. Thayer Murphy quickly down the court. Hockman's pass is knocked away, and last touch by one of his teammates. Chris Jackson will come in, and he will replace Damon Wallace, number 24 for Bethel. This is Raymond Johnson. Bethel has played, what, about 8 players, 9 players so far?
Yeah, he's rotated his players in quite freely this first quarter or first half.
Chris Jackson, who just came back in the ball game, is going to be called for the charge.
And that was a good call, Tim. He put his shoulder down and just a little bit of acting on the job of the defender, but it was an offensive foul for sure.
That's the second one on Jackson, and he'll come right back out of the ball game.
And who's that, number 24 coming in for the Bruins? That's
Wallace, who was just replaced moments ago, and Jackson picking up that foul is taken back out. Huckman's shot off the glass is good. Buff Huckman.
Shot good by Buff Huckman.
Now Denbigh with the lead for the first time in the ball game, 17-15. Barner, top of the key, three-point range, no good. Rainey followed his shot up but wasn't able to control it. Again, Denbigh moving the ball around very nicely.
They pass the ball as well as any team on a peninsula, Tim. They move the ball quick. It makes your defense work extra hard, and then the guy pops in a three-pointer. It's kind of demoralizing.
Thayer Murphy is the Denbigh player who has now given his team a 5-point lead. Shot no good. Corey Stewart's rebound and up no good. Back come the Patriots. And we've got a violation now. We're going to have kicking the ball called against Bethel. Turned out to be a good defensive play.
It really did, Tim, because that wiped 2 points off the board.
So there's no penalty per se for kicking the ball, and it was obviously intentional. But in doing so, Bethel was able to stop the fast break. 5:37 left in the half. 20-15. Denbigh by 5. Again, three-point range. This one rims the bucket and comes out.
Well, you see how far head and shoulders above everybody Corey Stewart was on that rebound, Tim.
He's a monster. And a traveling call against Johnson.
Well, that's a no-no, Tim. As a point guard, you don't stop your dribble out there in the middle of no man's land, because then the defense can get either a travel or a 5-second call. You don't stop dribbling the ball.
On the other side of that coin, when you do, if you do, your teammates have got to come out to you.
That's true.
Huckman from the corner. His second basket, and Denbigh now up to a 7-point lead, and they have scored all 9 points here in the second quarter.
And the Bruins are turning the ball over because of the pressure that the Patriots are putting on them.
Baseline jumper, no good. Again, rebound comes off for Bethel, Corey Stewart.
But then he just kind of loafs down the floor, Tim. As big as he is, I'd want him underneath that basket, not shooting that shot. Now, I'm not saying that's not a bad shot, but I'd rather have him down there where he's shooting 2 and 3 footers rather than 16, 17 footers.
That's one of those cases where the coach says, no, 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 yes! You don't want him shooting that shot, but if you're going to shoot it, do it that way. Denbigh again continues to move the ball extremely well. Turnaround jumper is good by Neil Venable. That's his 6th point. And it's back to a 7-point Denbigh lead. A reach-in foul by Huffman.
And he knew he did it, Tim. As soon as he reached in and caught the arm, he knew when that whistle blew. That was a bad move on his part.
He's going to come out of the ball game. He and Thayer Murphy will check out. And Brian Green and Brian Edlow will come back in for the Patriots. At the free throw line will be Raymond Johnson, who has yet to score.
Well, that broke a dry spell.
Bethel within 6. And Johnson is perfect from the free throw line. Edlow down the court quickly. Dishes it off. Turnaround jumper, no good. 2 Denbigh players battle for it, and Johnson takes it away. Now Johnson loses control of the dribble. Back come the Patriots. Again, 2 Patriots battle for the ball. Damon Wallace comes away with the ball. Corey Stewart. And again, the rebound to Denbigh.
This is a real fast-paced game, Tim.
(24-19), a little less than 3.5 minutes to go. Good anticipation by Rainey as he knocked it away, and back come the Bruins. Chance to cut that lead down to 3. Actually 2 if you talk to the three-pointer. Ball last touched by one of the Denbigh Patriots. It'll belong to the Bruins.
That was number 24 for the Patriots, Tim jumping. That's Dana Michael.
Rainey will come out of the ball game, and in for the Bruins will be Orlando Crawford.
And then we have number 34, Gerard Gwynn, coming in for the Patriots, and out goes Weaver.
This is Peter Barner. He'll drive the paint, and now a charging call.
Well, that's 2 on Peter.
2 fouls on Peter Barner. 3:04 left in the half. 24-19. Denbigh by 5. Again, Denbigh finds the open man and hits the jumper. That is Reuben Wilson with his second basket. And it's back to a 7-point Denbigh lead. Stewart. He'll put it up from 14. It's off the heel of the rim. Chased down by Orlando Crawford, but he loses it ultimately to Dana Michael, who will shoot from 13. No good. And Corey Stewart with the rebound.
Well, Corey Stewart is, he is a power under that board, Tim. And that's what it's hard for me, and I'm not criticizing Mike Bailey. He does what he's got his own philosophy, but I have that young man underneath the basket offensively and getting some of those offensive rebounds. And he plays out there on top of the key.
Troy Fullwood comes back in, replacing Ray Johnson for the Bruins. This is Fullwood with the ball. Started by Edlow. Finds Crawford. Fullwood. Barner. Barner fakes. Gives off to Corey Stewart.
Now that's what I mean, what he can do inside, Tim. He is awesome.
Close to a midcourt violation there.
I think it was. I believe he missed it.
I'm being generous. 26-21, 1:45 remaining in the half. The crowd awakened by that slam dunk. Shot is an air ball, and Stewart clears the board. Chance to cut that lead down to 3. From deep in the corner, it's an air ball, and coming away with it now is Gerard Gunn. 1:20 left in the half. From three-point range, Brian Green. Just like that, you've got an 8-point lead.
That three-point goal is really something, Tim. There's the man I have inside. That's beautiful.
Corey Stewart making it look easy. 29-23. Stewart now with 8 points in the first half. Green dishes it out. Shot's too strong, and again, the board comes off this time. Damon Wallace has it. Drive the lane, put it up, a foul on Dana Michael. That's his second personal foul. 29-23 as the Bruins are hanging tough now. They're only 2-5 in the district, while Denbigh is 7-1.
Well, Tim, let me tell you something about this Bruin team. They have been in just about every game they have played. They have been into the last 2 or 3 minutes and have lost very close ball games. Now, they may have lost by 6, 7 points, but that doesn't mean they were leading in some cases going into the last 2 minutes of a ball game and have just self-destructed this year. And I know Mike Bailey hopes that they can do some changes and change that statistic a little bit.
Two shots coming from the free throw line. The first one by Crawford is no good. 29-23, a little more than a half a minute to go in the half. Crawford 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. He's 3 of 4 for the first half. I understand AG will have Mr. Bailey, the principal of Bethel High School, at halftime. Inside of a half minute to go. Denbigh has it spread out. There is no shot clock in high school ball.
Well, they're going to take the last shot, Tim, which is not a bad move here. They've got a 5-point lead.
The theory, obviously, the worst you have is a 5-point lead. The best you might have is an 8-point lead. Inside of 10 seconds. An uncontested layup.
Oh, that was goaltending. That was a good call.
Edlow will get credit for the basket. It was positively goaltending. 4 seconds remaining now. And stealing the inbounds pass. Oh, it almost cost Bruins another 2 points. And the buzzer sounds to end the first half. So almost a disastrous turn of events there for Bethel as they gave up that inbounds pass and almost found themselves trailing by 10 at halftime, when in fact they trailed by the score of 31-24 at halftime.
With that, yeah, that could have been a 3-point play. In fact, it was a 3-point shot, Tim.
Okay, AG, I understand you've got someone to talk with here at halftime.
Right, Tim, Bob, we got Tom Bailey. Tom, you're down by 7. Your thoughts on that first half?
Well, you know, I knew coming into tonight's game we're going to see a lot of competition and a physical ball game, and you've got 2 teams with a lot of individual talent and 2 coaches that respect each other, so they're 2 of the best in the district. So it's going to come down to the end. They might have 7 now, but it's going to be close.
Even though they're down 7, they're playing for a lot of intensity tonight, and we're up here. And not only that, Tom, they have lost a few games in the 4th quarter here recently, though. What's your thoughts about the rest of the season?
Well, I think Coach Bailey's trying to deal with that, and the kids are dealing with that. They know that. You know, they got to put 4 good quarters together, and they realize that you don't play any competition without doing that. So, you know, they're trying to get that in their mind psychologically to say we've got to go 4 good quarters. So let's hope they do it tonight.
What's it going to take in the second half to pull this one out?
I think we're going to have to work the ball inside more. I'd like to see us go inside to Chris and Corey, and both of them, when we're going inside, we're scoring. So
Corey's got a lot of talent.
Awful lot of talent. You know, and I think we're going to see more of him as the season progresses.
Tom, thanks a lot. Good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thank you, bud.
Tom Bailey.
All right, AG, thank you for that interview with Tom Bailey, the principal here at Bethel High School. We are at halftime, and our score at halftime, Denbigh 31, Bethel 24. We'll return with second half action and first half statistics, but first let's take a brief timeout. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Wobble back at Bethel High School Gymnasium, the Den, as we are at halftime. A couple of minutes away from the start of the second half. Let's run down the individual scoring as we see Denbigh on top at halftime by 7, 31-24. Bethel was actually ahead by 2 points at halftime at the first quarter break, and then Denbigh rolled off 9 straight points before Bethel could retaliate and basically never could catch up to the the Patriots after that, they trail by 7.
And excuse me, Ted, I don't want to interrupt you, but Bruins have made a lot of mental mistakes too. And one instance was at that last inbounds play, just as the time was run out in the first half, which could have put the Patriots up by another 3 points. But Bruins have got, I don't mean to interrupt your thing there, but they're making a lot of mental mistakes.
And they are still in this ball game as we look at some of the fans in attendance for tonight's game. They are led at halftime by Corey Stewart, number 42, has 8 points. 2 of those points, a thunderous slam jam there in the second quarter. 3 points for Troy Fullwood, 3 points for Chris Jackson, who has had a couple of fouls and has sat down a good part of the first half. 3 points for Orlando Crawford. 3 points there, you see Dr. Sam, and
that's Elvina Jones there with him. His secretary, she's doing a little secretarial.
Was that Miss Jones? See, I've never met Miss Jones.
Yes, that's Miss Jones.
Oh, I talked to her on the phone a lot. Okay, Raymond Johnson, 2 points. 2 points for Peter Barner and 3 points for Craig Rainey. So the Bruins have kind of spread their 24 points around pretty evenly. For the Denbigh Patriots, they were paced with 7 points by Brian Green with a couple of 3-pointers. Brian Edlow had 5 with 1 3-pointer. 3 points for Thayer Murphy on a 3-pointer. 6 points for Neil Venable. 4 points for Huckman and Wilson, and 2 points for Brian Weaver. And AG, you say you got a scoop for us.
Yeah, I do. I talked with Mike Bailey coming out of the dugout, coming out of the locker room, and I said, what's he going to do different in the second half? He said he's going to outscore him by 8.
Okay, that's how you win. You're down by 7. You outscore him by 8. That's a scoop.
It's a secret. Yeah, that's what they always ask me to say, who's going to win? I said the team that scores the most points. It's easy to figure that one out. You know, but you had a good point, and I certainly don't want to question Coach Bailey's positioning. Got a bunch of crabbers out here, too, looks like. But having Corey Stewart out at the top of the key and that far away from the basket seems counterproductive to me, and I'm not, in just my opinion, and certainly you can go about this.
And I don't mean to second guess Coach Bailey. He's doing an admirable job over at Bethel High School. And let me tell you something about him. He works hard. He's got a 6th grade team, a 7th grade team, 8th grade team, and a Hampton Rec. So he's trying to build something. He's a hard worker. But I would have number 42 underneath the basket. That's just my philosophy.
All right, let's see if that becomes Bethel's philosophy as we get underway here. Bethel trailing by 7 points here at halftime.
Well, they got him down in the paint, and there he shot about a 14-footer, got his own rebound, put it right back in.
You know, he's not just tall, he's smooth. He's got some real smooth moves. From the free throw line, Brian Edlow hits, and that gives him 7 points.
And here we are with a full court Denbigh press. And Bruins had no problems breaking it at all.
Barner is fouled, nothing called. Brian Green's shot comes up short, and Fullwood feels pressure. No foul. This is Peter Barner to Fullwood from 13. No good. Nobody under the basket but blue shirts.
Well, and there stood Corey Stewart. Could have gone underneath and got that rebound, Tim. He just did not go under the basket.
Bethel wisely slows down. They were starting to get a little bit out of control. And they don't want to get behind this Denbigh team because they won't catch up. Denbigh's a good team. You don't want to get too far back. 33-26.
Well, one thing about this three-point shot, Tim, well, you get your team back in the game real quick with that.
Chris Jackson, as the 2 big guys start for Bethel here in the second half. Jackson and Stewart. Five-point lead. Nice soft touch by Brian Green. He's got 9 points.
Denbigh does an excellent job of passing that ball.
And they did a good job of stealing that ball that time. For the three-pointer, yes. So Neil Venable hits his first three-pointer. He's perfect from the field tonight, 4 for 4, including that three-pointer and another steal by Venable. 10-point lead for Denbigh.
Is really shaking the Bruins up a little bit. They've thrown the ball away the last 2 times down. Tim, that's a 12-point lead, and that's time, almost time for timeout, and I believe that's what Mike Bailey's doing right now.
Before this one gets away from him. So
he needs to call a timeout. They almost turned the ball over right then, bringing the ball in bounds again.
So very quickly, Denbigh jumps out to a 12-point lead as they have scored 9 points here in the second half to just 4 points for the Bruins.
Well, and it looks like the Bruins are just about a half a step behind what's going on out there. And they've turned the ball over on the press coming down. You know, they're just a little bit out of sync. I think the coaches have talked to the Bethel players, because I did notice when they set up offensively, they had Chris Jackson and Corey Stewart underneath the basket. So they're thinking, let's get the ball underneath, but you can't turn the ball over when that's happened. I see here at AG is going to have Jason Wallace at the end of the third quarter, another outstanding athlete out of Bethel High School.
5:22 remaining here in the third quarter. Denbigh out on top by 12. Again, that pressure, and the ball hits the end line. Good strong effort by Brian Breen to save the ball for Denbigh.
Tim, they're in a just basically a 2-1-1-1 press, or a 3-1-1, just letting their 3 men up here just try to double the ball, and then they got the 2 big men back here to break up the passing lanes.
Rainey will inbounds to Johnson. Another steal. Finally controlled by the Bruins. This is Thompson, and he's tripped up as Neil Venable got the knee out. Johnson fouled. It will not be a shooting situation. Neither team is into the bonus yet. It'll be player control. Bethel down by 12. They need some offense here. They've only scored 4 points in the third quarter.
Denbigh is back in a tight zone, and they're forcing Bruins to take those outside shot. Peter Barner for a 3-pointer.
Barner hits his second basket. This one a 3-pointer, and it's back to a 9-point lead. Brian Edlow drives the baseline, and he's fouled. Craig Rainey is called for his second personal foul. And going to the free throw line is Brian Edlow. Edlow is 0 for 1 at the free throw line.
First shot good by Brian Edlow.
10-point lead for Denbigh. Now the clocks are malfunctioning again here as you may have seen Pat Patrick pointing up to the scoreboard. He was telling the players that the scoreboard at this end of the court is the one that's correct. They have 2 different times on the scoreboard. Perfect at the free throw line is Edlow, and it's back to an 11-point lead. 42-31, and this is Corey Stewart.
That's who you get it to inside.
Corey Stewart with his second jam tonight. And Chris Jackson clears the board. Rainey, no good. Back comes Brian Breen for Denbigh. Venable to Edlow. Inside it went for Weaver, and it's picked off by Corey Stewart. Baseline jumper, Rainey no. Chris Jackson. And it's last touched by Denbigh. Greg Rainey will inbounds. There you see Coach Bailey Barner gives to Jackson. Jackson feels the pressure, spins around, puts it up, and it's controlled finally by Denbigh. Weaver as he kicks it out. Dana Michael, Venable, back to Michael, guarded by Peter Barner. Give and go, nice play, it doesn't go, but Weaver follows, yes.
Nice follow-up.
And a traveling call on Thompson. Check that, Johnson, excuse me, I keep calling him Thompson. Wilson will replace Venable in the lineup for the Patriots. Ruben Wilson comes back into the game, having scored 4 points in the first half. Chris Jackson knocks the ball out of bounds.
Chris Jackson's about a foot taller than who is that, number 20 for the that's Lionel Merritt.
Barner steals, gives to Rainey. He misses the layup. And in an effort to save the ball, Dana Michael stepped on the end line.
That's always a puzzle to a coach, how you can miss a layup and hit those 3-pointers.
Yep. Barner from 8 off the glass is too strong. Corey Stewart tries to control it, but he loses it on the end line also. Hockman comes back in along with Murphy for Denbigh. And coming out will be Edlow and Green, the starting guards.
Well, I'm impressed with Hoffman, not so much as his offensive play, but he passes the ball so good, Tim.
That was Hockman kicking it out to Weaver. Weaver's shot won't go. Corey Stewart cleans the board. In for Chris Jackson. Nice move to the basket. He can't get it to go, though.
It was partially blocked by number 50, Wilson.
Thayer Murphy with his second bucket. Peter Barner, guarded by Murphy. Foul underneath the basket.
Well, that was a blocking foul on Ruben Wilson that time, Tim. And that's what I'd like to see this replay so we could catch that and to see how good that was as far as the call. That's a tough call to make.
The block and the charge are, without much question, the toughest call to make. Bethel retains possession. 46-33. Barner puts it up, it's short. Weaver gets the board for Denbigh. Hockman from just outside the three-point range, or rather just inside, I should say. Back come the Bruins. Neither team able to buy a bucket right now. Nice pass.
They are a good passing team.
Ruben Wilson with 6 points. Thompson, Jackson throws it off the leg of Dana Michael, and they'll give the ball back to Bethel. Brian Green comes in, and he'll replace Dana Michael in the lineup for Denbigh. Barner fakes, drives off the glass, again no good. And a rebound by Weaver. Denbigh now slows the pace down a little bit.
Less than a minute, they're going to milk the clock and try to take the last shot, Tim. And I'm sure that's what they're going to do. Uh-oh, he drugged that foot. Good call.
Thayer Murphy stopped his dribble and in an effort to fake out his defender, dragged a pivot foot. So Bethel now, trailing by 15, gets a chance for some late scoring here. 44 seconds remaining. This is Raymond Johnson, guarded by Hockman. Orlando Crawford kicks it back out. Half a minute to go, and it goes out of bounds, and they'll say it was last touched by Denbigh. Looked like it went off the hands of Corey Stewart.
Well, I believe that Reuben Wilson got his hand in there as he was getting there, and he's actually the one that knocked it out of bounds, Tim. Pat Patrick is not making any bad calls tonight.
That's what his wife told us. Orlando Crawford's shot is short, so Denbigh gets the ball, and Bethel has just gone stone cold here in the third quarter. Particularly the latter part of this third quarter.
Well, they have, Tim. You're right.
Down to 10 seconds. Hockman and Green and Murphy. Murphy will try from three-point range. It comes out, a long rebound. A shot at the buzzer is well short. And the third quarter is history.
Well, then the third quarter belonged to Denbigh. There's no doubt about that. 15-point lead.
They led by 7 at halftime and have stretched that lead out, as you said, Bob, to 15 points. Where's AG, do you know?
AG said he had Jason Wallace, so go ahead, AG, if you're ready.
All right, Tim, Bob, we're over here in the corner. This corner over here, there you go. We have Jason Wallace, UVA second year. Jason, first of all, your observations here on the Bruins now. They're down by 15. Things aren't going too well.
Well, things aren't going too well right now, but, you know, as long as everyone keeps hustling and keeps doing what the coach tells them, you know, they have to just go for the moral victory right now, but there's still some time left.
Jason, you had a great year at UVA. I think you started the last 5 or 6 games, and UVA won their last 5 or 6 games now. Tell me about that correlation.
Well, I would hope to think that it's a little correlation between the two. You know, just after we were 2-4, and we just came together as a unit and just said that we just have to play ball and stop trying to work at it. So, and that just came along.
One thing, Bethel, year after year, they're way up there high in scholarships and their athletes. So what do you attribute that to?
I attribute to the coaching staff here. You know, they stress the fundamentals, and that's what a lot of the coaching staffs in college are looking for, because you can work with a person that already has good fundamentals.
Jason, we've enjoyed you here at the Bruins. We're enjoying watching you at UVA. Good luck to you the rest of your career up there.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, Jason Wallace.
Thank you, AG. Thank you, Jason. As you were talking with them, we saw Reuben Wilson hit for Denbigh, and then Chris Jackson returned the favor for Bethel.
And Tim, Chris Jackson was fouled on that shot if it wasn't called.
Pat didn't miss that call, did he?
No, I think it was the other. I think that was Whitley's call.
Hockman drives on Crawford, and Crawford gets the rebound. Quickly down the court, they're looking for Rainey. He gets it and puts it off the glass. No good. Tip no good. Hockman finally controls it for Denbigh. He was fouled, nothing called. So game getting a little ragged here at times. Denbigh still holding on to that 15-point lead. Inside of 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Dana Michael gets some garbage down below and then throws the ball away. Orlando Crawford with Rainey. Crawford's shot no good. Bethel just can't get the lid off of that bucket. And then a foul on an attempt at a steal by Craig Rainey. That is his third personal foul. Player control foul. And Bethel called a quick huddle with Bailey over there. Almost got caught. And a turnover as Michael threw down low for Weaver. Weaver went to the right. Michael thought he was going to the left. Bethel with a 15-point deficit to overcome. They need some baskets here. They've really gone cold. Chris Jackson gives to Orlando Crawford. Crawford has been short on at least his last 3 shots. Bethel right now needs somebody to score for them. And Weaver does the trick for Denbigh. Rainey drives the lane and is fouled. Bob, you've seen Bethel play a couple times. Who is their court leader? Who's the man on the court that's supposed to run the operation?
Well, it depends on who's in there, whether it's Peter Brawner or number 4, Raymond Johnson. whoever's the point guard, supposed to set it up and settle down. But right now they seem to be running with like nobody, like a person without a head. They're just kind of going on. There's no cohesiveness to their offense at all.
That was more of my question than anything. You've answered my question perfectly, because it looks like there's nobody who's leading the team. They're kind of playing individually, and as you know, as a former basketball coach, you don't win a lot of games unless you play like a team.
Yeah, you're right. You don't do that, that's for sure.
Ask Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls about one-man teams.
I mean, Michael Jordan is an excellent ball player, but you can't do it all with one ball player.
You have to have some leaders out there. Craig Rainey hit the first. And gets the roll on the second. Bethel is not out of this game, but they need to do something pretty quickly. 52-37. 5:50 remaining in the fourth. Venable back in the ball game for Denbigh. Bethel playing a man-to-man.
And Denbigh just basically has spread it out. It doesn't look like they're trying to work it inside or anything. They're just running their pass offense. That was an excellent shot.
Dana Michael couldn't get it to go, but Denbigh gets the rebound. Brian Edlow will bring it back out. He's guarded by Fullwood. This is Venable, guarded by Corey Stewart. Stewart blocks the shot. And it's controlled by Michael.
And that was an excellent call, Tim, because as soon as he went down, he started dribbling. A lot of people would like to call traveling, but it was not travel.
Denbigh now calls the timeout real quickly. 5:09 is the time remaining, 52-37. This game, as you're watching it this week, we remind you we will be at Denbigh High School for this Denbigh team hosting the Kecoughtan Warriors Friday night, the 20th of January, and we'd like to see you out there for that game. We'll be there doing both the girls and the boys games. Those games will start at approximately 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. And come on out and support your Kecoughtan Warriors or your Denbigh Patriots or just Peninsula basketball in general. It's a fun evening. It's enjoyable for the whole family.
It really is, Tim, and there's some excellent athletes playing out here on both teams.
They are. I'm impressed, by the way, win, lose, or draw. I'm impressed with Bethel's team. I think they've got some real good potential.
Oh, I think they've got some excellent talent.
And I'm not counting them out of this one yet either. Venable gets the inbounds pass. This game being played on the 13th of January, 1989. We here at Channel 29 wish all of you and yours a Happy New Year. Weaver's shot won't go. Corey Stewart battles for it, and in doing so, ended up on the baseline. (52-37). Inbounds for Venable. He'll drive, hook it up. Yes, it goes.
Magic Johnson.
Little driving hook shot from Neil Venable. He's got 11 on the game. And Hockman inside battles with Chris Jackson, and Jackson has it blocked and knocked away.
Well, somebody grabbed his arm, Tim.
54-37. Denbigh with the ball and the lead. Nice pass underneath. The basket doesn't go, but Fullwood got him. And going to the free throw line will be Brian Edlow, who is 2 for 3 at the free throw line tonight. .4:18 remaining. 2 shots coming for Brian Edlow. Bethel led at the end of the first quarter by 2, and then found themselves trailing by 7 at halftime. They trailed by 15 at the end of the third quarter. And right now they find themselves trailing by 17. Edlow hits 1 of 2. Chris Jackson turnaround jumper doesn't go. Hockman with the board. You know, Bob, if you had to pick a top player for this Denbigh team, it would be hard to say at this point in the game who that would be. They share the effort pretty equally. There's no one that really is outstanding.
There's no one player out there for Denbigh that they
play very well as a unit.
They are a definite unit out there on the floor. And I don't care what combination Katufas puts out there, they all play as a pretty good unit, and that's a good sign of coaching.
Well, the scoring has been fairly evenly spread around too, although Brian Edlow, let's see, he's got 5, 7, 9, he's got 10 points, and then Brian Green is counterpart of the other guard position. As we see Hockman hit from 15.
Oh, that was, excuse me, I don't mean
to Weaver.
Weaver, yeah.
54 rather than 44. Rainey will try from 3, and he's connecting. That's his second three-pointer. Brian Green with 6, 10, 11 points. 5 points for Murphy. 11 points for Venable. 8 points for Weaver. 8 points for Wilson. So the Denbigh just has it spread all over the board. Rainey with a circus move. Jackson is fouled from behind. A couple of Bruins slow to get up off the deck.
I'd like to see that a replay. That was, Rainey did a 360 and was out of control.
It was a circus move, as I said, and they really were doing a little playground basketball on that one. 57-40, 3:07 remaining. Fullwood for 3, in and out. Jackson hooks it in. So Chris Jackson has 9, and his team trails by 15 with just 2:50 remaining. This is Neil Venable, guarded by Corey Stewart. Jackson is guarding Brian Weaver. Weaver from 16, no good this time. And Corey Stewart gets the rebound. With the alley-oop pass in for Jackson, a little bit too long. Brian Green comes in for Denbigh. And also checking in will be Reuben Wilson, number 50. So Denbigh, as you said, Bob, and I think that sums it up, they don't lose anything with their bench. They have a real good-looking team. They have 8 players that are pretty equal.
Yeah, they're not real deep in that they only have 8, but those 8 really play well together. And that's not only a tribute to the coaching, but it's also to the JV coaching, because a lot of these kids played JVs last year, but if you play the same type of offense, same deep, you know, you can move right into the unit.
Dish it off, nice play. Corey Stewart uses the glass. He's got 14 on the night unofficially. And then we've got an intentional foul against Rainey, and Temper's getting a little flared up here.
Well, that intentional foul, Tim, not only will the Patriots get 2 shots from the foul line, but they'll also get the basketball afterwards. That is a real hard thing to come by. 2 minutes left to go in the game, you're down 13. This could be as much as a 5-point swing. 2 foul shots and a possible 3-pointer, or could it be a 4-point swing?
Order is restored, just a momentary flare-up, as you will have occur.
Well, just a point, Tim, I want to make. Rainey has been substituted for, and I think that's a real smart move on Coach Bailey's part. The kid is obviously real frustrated, and you need to get him out, settle him down. There's no sense to keep him in it. That was a real smart move on Coach Bailey.
Brian Green missed the first technical, or at least the first personal, I should say. Gets the second. So there was no technical call per se. It was just the intentional foul has 2 shots forthcoming, and then they get the ball at half court. Inside of 2 minutes now, 58-44, 14 point for Denbigh. And the turnover.
And that turnover was because he gave up his dribble.
Brian Gwaltney, who started the ball game, but who has seen very limited action. And that might be why he missed everything. Gwaltney, who started the game, has yet to score. Inside of a minute and a half, 58-44. We remind you again, come out and watch Denbigh play Kecoughtan at Denbigh High School and follow all the Peninsula teams Friday night. We'll be at Denbigh High School for the game between Kecoughtan and Denbigh. Troy Fullwood has 5 points. Dana Michael double team, gets it to Brian Weaver. He'll shoot from 16, it's short. Rebound blocked.
He's not bashful, Tim.
Denbigh keeps it alive. And now the foul is charged to Peter Barner. That's his third, but it's academic at this point. 58-46, a 12-point bulge, and Coach Bailey will clear the bench. Coming in the game, we want to make sure we get some names mentioned here. These guys haven't seen any action. David Brown on your screen, 23. Number 10 is Mike Mixon. Robbie Robinson, number 11. And number 24, Damon Wallace, who started the ball game and did not score. So two of the starters for Bethel didn't score at all. Wallace and Gwaltney. Brian Green, good on the first. And now Denbigh will do the same as they'll bring in the subs. Coming in for Denbigh, Billy Johnson, number 30. And number 22 is Eric Lloyd. Seconds remaining. The final score is the only thing in doubt at this point. Bethel moves it around, puts it up, no good. And it's knocked away last touch by the Bruins. Now yet another substitution as Wilson comes out. And things get a little bit wild here.
Well, you got some fresh people in there, and they're going faster than their adrenaline is flowing right now, Tim.
24 seconds remaining. Denbigh will improve their record to 11-2 overall, and they'll be 8-1 in the district. Bethel falls to 2-6 and 3-8. Again, our thanks to the fine people here at Bethel High School, Coach Kozlowski, and the people here at the gym, as usual, beyond cooperative. And we always appreciate their help. It's always a pleasure to come over here to Bethel High School. Free throw time for Denbigh now. Marvin Smith gets his name in the scorebook.
Number 52, that's...
Well, I got him down as someone else here. 52, huh? Marvin Smith. We'll give him the right name here. We'll call him Walter Breckens. Just 3 seconds remaining. Buzzer sounds mercifully.
And really, Tim, I thought Bethel played a real good game that first half, and they came out so flat. It was like somebody put a lid on their basket. They just couldn't get anything going. And their offense, it was almost non-existent that second half. And I'm not taking anything away from the Denbigh Patriots. I think their defense might have had something to do with it.
Well, Bethel scored 15 points in the first quarter and had a 2-point lead. Then they scored 9 points in the second quarter and 9 points in the third quarter, and then 13 points in the fourth quarter. So they dropped off. They were relatively consistent, but they just couldn't keep up with the pace that Denbigh was going at. They started off fairly slow, only scoring 13 points in the first quarter, but then they put on 18 in the second quarter to lead 31-24. All right, AG, I understand you've got the winning coach for tonight's ball game.
Go ahead, AG.
Tim, Bob, we do. We have Coach Dennis Katufas. And Dennis, first of all, congratulations.
Hey, thank you very much. It's a big win for us.
Yes, you guys seemed to rebound from that Phoebus game.
Well, yeah, we were a little slow in the Phoebus game, yet, you know, it was important for our kids to get back some real intensity tonight, and we did that.
Dennis, it seemed like it was a well-balanced attack. We were looking at, you know, who was maybe the outstanding player for Denbigh tonight, but it looked like it was just a complete balanced attack, team effort.
Well, and in this year's team, that's where our strength lies when we go with everybody. It's not like years past where we had a great player like Marcus Michael or Kevin Jones. We have to rely on everybody, and when we do that, we play pretty well.
Dennis, how far can this team go?
It's interesting. At the beginning of the year, you know, I had my doubts, but they grow on you. This is a team that when they start playing with each other, they can do a lot of good things.
Well, Dennis, good win tonight. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Dennis Katufas.
All right, AG, thank you. And Bob, while you're greeting and meeting friends over there, I'll run down some of the unofficial
I got
scores.
some fans here, Tim.
For the Bethel Bruins, they were paced by Corey Stewart, who ended up unofficially with 14 points for the night. 5 points for Troy Fullwood, had a 3-pointer in there. 9 points for Chris Jackson, 3 points for Orlando Crawford, 8 points for Craig Rainey with a couple of 3-pointers, 5 points for Peter Barner with 1 3-pointer, and 2 points for Raymond Johnson. For Brian Edlow of the Denbigh Patriots, he had 11 points. Brian Green had 13, so the guards contributed 24 points for the Denbigh Patriots. Thayer Murphy had a 3-pointer and 5 points. 8 points, check that, 11 points for Neil Venable, including a 3-pointer. 4 points for Hockman, 8 points for Ruben Wilson, and 8 points for Brian Weaver. And they win, the Denbigh Patriots do 60-46 over a game Bethel team. A game Bethel team, but they just didn't have the guns to stay with Denbigh.
Well, Tim, I think they have the personnel to stay with any team in the district. They have a good team. It's just that I don't know if they just can't get them gelled or what the whole situation is there, but I think Bethel is going to gel before the end of the season, and they're going to be tough come tournament time, and you can do anything you want during the season. If you make it to the tournament, you win that tournament, you advance. So that could be a spoiler before this thing is over.
Oh, I definitely think so. Bethel has shown that they very much have the guns to do it if they can put it all together. I feel like I'm playing a tennis match here. I'm not sure which camera we're working with. But no, I'm impressed with Bethel's talent. I think if they get more cohesiveness as a team, I think they can definitely cause some problems for some teams in this district.
They've got 2 tremendous rebounders in Jackson and Corey Stewart underneath that basket. I mean, those guys could dominate, but it just seems like that wasn't the philosophy tonight, was to kick the ball inside and make Denbigh beat me at my game. They try to play Denbigh's game, and when you go out and you play somebody else's game, and that's what they want you to do, then it's tough to come back.
All right, well,
here we go.
Speaking of Denbigh, we will be at Denbigh Friday night, the 20th of January, for the game between the Kecoughtan Warriors and the same Denbigh Patriots. Bob, any final words before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to thank the crew. They've been up here since 3 o'clock and set this thing up. And they'll run the credits across the screen so the people can see them. We've had a layoff since the football season, and we've been looking forward to this. And you know, going from football to basketball, it's easy to miss some things, but I don't think they missed anything out here tonight. They did an excellent job, our camera crew, and Jerome and Angela and Sam Jr.
And our director, Scotty Bauer, doing his usual good job, and Bev Then Paxton, we appreciate her business. What about Dr. Sam here? I understand he's been taking it. It looked like he had a little more than his share of turkey and stuffing over the holidays.
I tell you what, he had a great holiday. He's talking about yours too. You didn't do any push-ups away from that table.
I didn't miss a meal. That's the final score here. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. 60-46, Denbigh beats the Bethel Bruins from the Bethel High School Gymnasium. This is Tim Cole for Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble. We thank you for watching. Good night, everybody. He was 8 for 8 in the game with South Lakes, and he is 3 for